Curing HIV, blood transfusions, beating COVID. All of these, once mythical dreams, all of these seemed out of reach. Until one day, they didn't. Until one day, they merely seemed like a distant memory of the past. Getting healthcare to our country, out of reach. To our planet, a dream at best. 8 billion people on the planet today, less than 2 billion of them have access to any form of real care. Right here in the United States, less than half of us even have a doctor in the most developed nation on the planet. So let's start by asking ourselves why. Why can we cure HIV but not get a simple doctor to people? Why can we beat COVID but not check everyone's blood pressure? Seems odd, right? Now, I'm not from the world of healthcare. I've only just stepped in. But I think it may have to do with a little blind spot we all have. Let me explain. It all starts with the number 2. The number 2 is the key to unlocking healthcare. See, the human brain is an amazing thing. Think of all the things that it can do. You can literally perceive the direction of the wind merely by feeling the tension of tiny little hairs on your skin. You can control millions of neurons in your brain, forming vivid dreams just from your imagination. You can even compute complex math in your brain just to help you surf a wave or ride a bicycle. But this supercomputer on your shoulders has a hugely fatal flaw. It doesn't understand the number 2. Let me demonstrate. Pretend that we have a chessboard. And in one square of that chessboard, I put a teeny tiny little grain of rice. And on the square next to it, I double it and put 2 grains of rice. Next one over, I double it again and put 4. And I keep doubling it until all the squares on the chessboard are covered in rice. Now ask yourself, how much rice do we have? Enough to fill my hands, enough to fill a room, or enough to fill this entire building? Let's get a show of hands. Who chose enough to fill my hands? Okay, turns out that one's wrong. Who chose enough to fill this room? Okay, turns out that one's wrong too. And who chose enough to fill this entire building? Okay, turns out it's a trick question. That one's wrong too. Okay. But let me show you by just how much. The real answer obviously wasn't any of those. The real answer is 18 quintillion, 446 quadrillion, 744 trillion, 73 billion, 709 million, 551,615 grains of rice. Now, if you're trying to imagine how much rice that is, I want you to picture in your mind every single thing that humans have ever made in the history of all of humanity. So what the hell just happened? How are we all off by so much? And now you see my point. The human mind doesn't understand exponentials, but it does understand incrementals. Just ask yourself, the last time you showed up late to your friend's house, did you show up 5 minutes late? Did you show up a few days late? Or did you show up in the year 2027? A few minutes late, right? Okay, so now you're thinking, but wait, the hell does this have to do with healthcare? Well, it turns out everything. We're taking the wrong approach. Let's take a look. 335 million Americans, and how are we trying to get them healthcare? Well, Kaiser is the largest healthcare system in the United States. And 77 years in, they have 12 million members. If Kaiser was a tech company, you would have never heard of it and you wouldn't have the app on your phone. Okay, so now imagine that I told you that I wanted to get healthcare, that I wanted to get doctors to the entire planet, to billions of people, to the middle of India, the middle of Rwanda. What are you going to say? You're going to say, Adrian, where are you going to get all these doctors and who the hell is going to pay for them? But imagine I said that I wanted to get smartphones to the whole planet, to the middle of India, the middle of Rwanda, to billions of people. You're going to say, Adrian, not only do I think it's possible, I think you're a little late to the game. So what do you intuitively know? You intuitively know that humans don't scale in a way that technology does. Or another way to say it is doctors don't scale in a way that hardware and software does. So there's one key insight that we should take away, which is that healthcare should be a product, not a service. We should take every single thing that doctors and nurses are doing and migrate it over to hardware and software. Because we know that if we do, we can finally scale healthcare up to billions and billions of people. We can finally make healthcare go exponential. But it turns out our blindness to the number 2 doesn't end there. Let me illustrate. Let's zoom all the way back. Let's zoom all the way out. And let's look at how we've evolved as humans. Let's go all the way back 5,500 years, and let's say you were born in the Bronze Age. But this time, instead of looking at healthcare, let's start by looking at transportation. Now, at first, as humans, we were limited to walking just a few miles a day. We foraged for food, we hunted, we built shelter, but we never went very far because all we had was our own bare feet. Now 5,500 years ago, we started to get tired of that, and so we invented shoes, and we could now walk 10, maybe 20 miles a day. And we lived like this for a few thousand years, until one day we started to desire more. And so we learned to tame horses, and now our reach grew to 40, maybe 50 miles a day, opening up entirely new realms. We can now cross mountain ranges and even forests. This satisfied us for roughly another 1,000 years or so, but still it wasn't enough. And so we invented chariots, and 40 or 50 became 100, maybe 200 miles. But still, we weren't satisfied. We wanted more. We experimented with things like hot air balloons to get us to 300 or even 400, but now we were growing impatient. So in just a matter of decades, we invented trains to cross states, we invented planes to cross countries and continents, and yet true to form, it still wasn't enough. So NASA decided, you know what, we're going further. We're going to go all the way to the moon, 250,000 miles away. And in this very decade, SpaceX is trying to take us all the way to Mars, 125 million miles away. To say that transportation has learned the power of 2 is an understatement. That's 25 million X increase from the days of walking. Our reach is like never before. The future is looking bright. But now let's look at life expectancy. If you were born in the Bronze Age, almost 5,000 years ago, your first few years of life were scary. You had roughly a 20 to 25% probability of death right in infancy. Okay, that's bad. But that also means you had a 75–80% probability of survival. Now, let's say you did survive. What was your life expectancy? Well, it turns out it was about 47 years old. Now, several millennia later, 5,000 years later, what is it today? About 72 years. We've increased it by less than half. At best, we've invented the shoe. And you know this, we just had a global pandemic, and the first piece of advice we told people was to put a piece of paper over their face. Where's my spaceship? Where's my rocket? Where's my Million X? When will healthcare go exponential? And more importantly, what will it take? In my pocket, I carry the most powerful invention of the last century, the modern phone. But ask yourself, what makes it so revolutionary? We already had laptops, we already had the internet, we already had chips. Again, it was the number 2. Let me explain. Let's take Kevin Systrom. He walks around and he tells people that he built Instagram in a weekend. And honestly, it always chaps my ass a little. Because think about it. It's like, sure, you built it in a weekend. After 10,000 engineers built the world's best operating system, the world's best camera, the world's best cell chips, the world's best cell towers, you came, you put icing on the cake. You built a camera app, you don't even know how the camera works. But in some ways, this is why the mobile computing revolution took off, right? Because a 22-year-old at Stanford could sit at home, have an idea, push it out to the world, and a day later, learn if it worked. And for the first time in history, computing went exponential. Well, where's healthcare's operating system? I dream of the day where that 22-year-old at Stanford isn't wasting their time with photo sharing apps, but rather cancer prevention. I dream of the day where they're not publishing papers, but writing applications. I dream of the day where it's not a decade to get into the world, but a day. I dream of the day where healthcare finally goes exponential. Imagine a world with healthcare all around you. Imagine a world with healthcare on every street corner, whether you're in New York or New Guinea. How does healthcare change when it's not just once a year, but once a day? Or even, how does healthcare change when it's not sitting behind appointments or insurance, but sitting behind your desires? What apps will you choose? Is it time to push your body and explore its limits? From running a marathon to climbing a mountain? But why stop there? Be bold, change your appearance, explore the limits of your mind. Or is it time to cheat death? To finally stand up to that heart disease that runs in your family? To stop those strokes that keep taking us out one by one? What does it look like when your doctor is there to craft the perfect meal every single time, not just remind you once a year? Or when they notice the slightest changes in your body every minute of every day? And what would the world's most challenging problems look like if we harnessed experts from all over the world, not just right in front of you? Would your cancer be so hard to beat, or look more like the COVID that we just crushed? Now, I want to leave you with one last thought. Whenever we talk about healthcare, we talk about an industry. It sounds almost intellectual, it sounds theoretical, but it's not. Thanks to Google, knowledge will never again be locked in the hands of the few. Never again will a father in Mozambique not know how to build shelter for his family or educate his children. Thanks to smartphones, our planet will never starve. Because of the ability to communicate and trade, food will never again be locked in the hands of the few. But to this day, you need to be rich to see a doctor. To this day, you need to be in the right country to get care, to have the right insurance, to get a procedure. So what will it take to finally change that? It's time for change. It's time for healthcare to become a product, not a service. It will take time, but if we start now, we'll soon wake up in a world where healthcare has gone exponential.
We all know when the time has come for change. In healthcare, that time is now. Gone are the days of paperwork and insurance. Today, we rebuild healthcare from the ground up as a product with prevention at its core. Putting health at your fingertips. Bringing science to the forefront. Harnessing a world of experts. A program that dives into all aspects of your health. Past health history, current health state, future wellness goals, blood testing, family history, genetics, nutrition, and more. To establish where you are today, where you want to be, and how to get there. One that recommends personalized health programs, custom designed for you, and guided by doctors, like a heart health program, powered by custom-tailored nutrition counseling, and biometric monitoring in person and at home. So you'll start to see which diet is right for you and your body. Or cancer prevention program. With skin cancer screenings to track and monitor things like mole growth, skin lesions, discolorations over time, and genetic testing to uncover your personal risk for certain diseases like colon cancer. This is a world worth building. Healthcare for everyone, not the few. Healthcare from the future. Healthcare as a product, not a service. And it's closer than you think.
Great. Thank you.